Hey there, sisterhood. April here, and I'm so excited to launch you into the universe of What's Her Superpower? Superpowers, sisterhood, secrets revealed. What's Her Superpower explodes onto the scene, alternating between real talk solo episodes and electrifying guest interviews. Hi, today we're going to talk about the blame game and why it is holding you back. Welcome to another episode of What's Her Superpower? You may not do this, but I'm sure there might be people in your life that blame and complain about things, as in everything, and can't figure out why either they can't get ahead at their job, or they don't have any friends, or, maybe they have trouble with their relationship. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And this might step on some toes. And if that is the case, then you might want to get these people out of your life. So, and that's a broad statement, I know, because, but what I want y'all to think about, and if we're honest with ourselves, because I know I have gotten caught up in this. I'll never forget my very first command. I was very new in the Navy. I'd only been in, I say new. I'd been in almost a couple of years because my school was really long. So by the time I got to my first command, I'd been in a couple of years, but new to the Navy. And this one girl kind of took me under her arm and under her wing and, showed me everything, showed me around, introduced me to people. But she was so negative, everything that came out of her mouth was so negative. And I didn't realize it until my husband at the time said, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, "What do you mean? You're just so negative about everything." And I realized that I was taking on the traits of this lady, person, woman, sailor. And I didn't like that about myself. I didn't want to be a negative person. I'm normally a pretty happy person. But hanging around her, listening to her, nothing was her fault. It was somebody else's fault. She didn't get good marks, good evaluations, but, it's because they didn't like her. And it was always somebody else's fault, or she was complaining about something. She never got the good jobs, or she never got whatever it was. It wasn't her fault. It was everybody else's fault. And sometimes it's easy to get caught up in that, in the blame game and the complain game. So that's one of the things that we're going to talk about as we go through this today. And I'm going to give you some examples. I've got my notes over here. So if you see me looking over, that's what I'm doing. But we definitely don't want to get into the blame game or the complain game because it just holds us back. And I don't know about you, but I don't like to be around people like that. So one of the things that like a blame mindset might be, it's not my fault. It's because of what they did. They're responsible. Have we ever said that? I know I have. Not my fault. That's not my job. We hear that and we joke about it. That's not my job, man. So, but is it somebody else's fault? Could we have done something? Maybe a success mindset way to look at it is when I look beyond blaming, I can see how I actually created or allowed this, and I can begin to search for and find ways to get the result that I want. Maybe we just need to become more solution-minded rather than blame-minded. So that's one of the things that we have control over. When people say, she made me mad, or he made me mad, or he hurt my feelings, you allowed that person to hurt your feelings or to make you mad. You reacted to what they said. I'm not telling you that it's not hard to ignore somebody because sometimes people just mess with you and they want to see if they can get a rise out of you. And that's when we have to choose. And it's hard sometimes because And it's usually the people that are closest to us. Drop me some comments, give me some amens. Who can stir you up faster? Your kids and your spouse or your family members who can't leave out family. Okay. Because we know they know how to push our buttons. You got sisters, you got brothers. Oh yeah. It doesn't stop when you're young. All right. So, maybe a circumstance is your coworker. They're always late. They never turn stuff in on time. Matter of fact, I was talking to somebody yesterday. We're talking about doing an event where we're going to get people to contribute things into us. And it's like, how can you set up because not everybody's going to turn stuff in on time. You know that going in. It happens. So can we put something in place, like maybe incentives, or, if you turn it in by a certain date, you're going to go into a drawing for a prize. In a perfect world, you wouldn't have to do that, and in your mind, you think, these are all adults. I should not have to incentivize them to do something that they say they wanted to do. But I'm here to tell you, sometimes you got to do that. And you know that. This is not a newsflash to anybody. If it is, then you need to call me, drop me a comment and say that you just learned something new today. So, but how do we quit blaming? How do we quit blaming? Because it's easy. It's easy to get caught up in that. Not my fault. It's their fault. It's but that is holding us back. It is. I know when I divorced my first husband, it was hard. And I remember when we were married, he never wanted to go do anything. He never wanted to go anywhere. He never, and I was like, you know what? If it wasn't for him, I would be doing all this fun stuff. Am I the only person? So can I get an amen? So when we split up, I found myself sitting in my house, looking outside and looking at the world going by. And I caught myself one day and I thought, for all that time, I blamed him. I blamed him on not wanting to do things. Would it have been more fun to do things with somebody else? Well, yes. But was I capable of getting off my couch into my car and going to festivals or concerts? Or did I have friends that I could go to these things with? Well, of course I did. But I found myself, and even making excuses of why I couldn't go do things with my friends. So I had to kind of put my big girl panties on. Y'all got big girl panties out there? I hope so. Because sometimes you just got to put those big girl panties on and go about your life and make things happen on your own. Okay. So if no one's told you that, I'm here to tell you, get out those big girl panties and go, girl, and go do what you want to do. So how do we get past this? And this is one I hear so much, too much. A difficult childhood. Okay, who didn't? Now, do not send me hate mail. I am not saying that some people did have a very difficult childhood. And I didn't have a great childhood, but you know what? I wasn't sexually abused. I was not beaten. I was not starved. People had it much worse than me. And I am not, saying that everybody had, that's not a bad thing. Of course it's a bad thing. That no one should have to go through that. But at some point, we either need to get help and, therapy and deal with what we've been through, or we need to move on, or whatever it takes for you to get out of that place where you're dragging that baggage around. You're dragging baggage around for stuff that happened to you, and it's not your baggage. It wasn't your fault, and it's not your baggage. So This is kind of off the thing of blaming and complaining, but I feel it in my heart that somebody needs to hear this. And it breaks my heart to know that there are people out there suffering and going through things they're carrying somebody else's baggage. So if that is you, you know what? Reach out to me. We can get you help. If you haven't had someone help you, then I'm telling you, I will help you. I know enough people. You're going to hear from ladies that have dealt with trauma, that help people through different things. We can get you help no matter what you've been through, because that is not your baggage to carry. We need to move on from that. And we need to live the life we deserve, not what other people have put on us. Okay? Whew, yeah, I don't know where that came from, but that was a message. All right, so we've talked about blaming, we've talked about complaining, and we're going to just touch on, and I don't want to make this too long because I know y'all are busy out there. You don't have time to be sitting and listening to me all day, but I hope you're getting something from this. So we want to, where am I at? So here's some examples of some of the stuff. So what's a difficult or troubling situation in your life? I've been wanting to start my own training business for 2 years, but I keep putting it off. Hey, that's me. Just like the podcast, at least a year, probably longer. So why do we do that to ourselves? Why do we keep putting things off? Fear. I mean, that was a big one for me. I was afraid. But if you asked me what I was afraid of, I couldn't really tell you. You know, was I afraid of failure? Was I afraid of success? I don't know. But I got to the point where I just got to the point where fear was not going to hold me back anymore. So if that's one of the things that are holding you back, you know what? We've grown up with, what's the worst that could happen? Okay, they could take away my birthday. I've had enough. You can have it. But why don't we look at it as, what's the best thing that could happen? Hey, that's a concept. That's a switch. That's a switch in our brain that we need to put in there, because it's not always the worst case scenario. Why don't we look at the best case scenario? Why don't we look at some of the things that have happened to us? Instead of happening to us, they happened for us, because they made us into the person that we are today. Wounds and all. Nobody's perfect. There was only one person that was perfect, and he's not with us anymore. So the rest of us are just doing the best that we can. And we're very quick to give other people grace, but we're not very good at giving ourselves grace. So, I've been all over the place today, haven't I? Let's see. We're going to finish up. All right. It's responsibility time. So we're going to talk about how can we stop blaming and complaining? I mean, some people say, well, just stop doing it. Okay. Yeah, that's easy. So at the end of the day, I want you to think back, and I don't know about you, but at the end of the day, at night, when I'm laying in bed, I say my prayers and I go over what I'm grateful for, because it's hard to be mad and be grateful at the same time. But when you do this, I want you to sit down with like a journal, if you're a journal person, or if you do it on your phone, if you want to get your notes section in your phone, however you want to track it. And what did I complain about today? Or who did I blame something on today? Yeah, I know. I didn't say this was going to be easy. If it was easy, there is no growth in our comfort zone. It's called a comfort zone for a reason. We're not growing there. We're stagnating there. So hopefully this will start your growth, or at least, move it a step forward. So every night, because we're setting a habit. So every night, get your journal. It's easier at the end of the day because tomorrow morning you're not going to remember. But sit down and make notes about what did I complain about today and who did I blame? Because if you do this, even if you do this for a week, will you commit to me, drop me some comments and to tell me that you commit to doing this for a week? And what that's going to do is that is going to activate your mind to when you're thinking about a complaint or a blame, you're going to catch yourself doing it. And you're going to be a lot more conscious when you do it. So let's do this together. Let's keep each other honest. Drop me some comments if you commit to do it. Say, I commit, for a week, 7 days, not 3. For 7 days, I want you to, at the end of the day, journal about what you complained about and who you blamed. And hopefully by the 5th day, our list isn't quite as long. This task doesn't take very long. But the first day, it might take a minute. So give yourself some grace, sit down, recall what your day looked like, and just make these notes. All right. I love y'all so much. I appreciate you. And I am sending blessings your way. So we'll see you next week. We'll have another interview and then we'll be back the week after. I'll be back the week after that. So drop me some comments. Let me know what you liked about today. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share with a friend. All right. I know it's a lot of tasking, didn't it? All right. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Forget unicorns. Unlock your true potential with actionable tips, inspiring stories, and a whole lot of laughs. Join the mission. Subscribe now. Find your own What's Her Superpower. Join the mission.